Patience is indeed a virtue that often brings its own rewards. But while the war for the throne sorts itself out in due course, waiting achieves nothing on its own, for there are still beasts to be slayed. There's a saying in boxing, all the greats move up. Having captured world titles at super middleweight and light heavyweight, David Benavidez now has his sights set on the cruiserweight division. There's a major opportunity there to strengthen his legacy with Zurdo Ramírez, the first Mexican cruiserweight world champion and the division's current unified champion, standing between the crosshairs. As two roads cross, the two gunslingers now line up for the kind of Mexican showdown that captures the imagination. Benavidez now chases the allure of becoming a three-division world champion, while Zurdo seeks to cement himself as the best cruiserweight in the division. In a matchup that all but promises a shootout, two Mexicans stand across from one another, waiting for the clock to crawl toward dawn. To understand this matchup, the boxing archetype and style each man brings into the ring. The Mexican monster, David Benavidez, steps into the ring like a coiled spring, ready to unload controlled havoc. At 6'2", with the 74.5-inch reach, he fights orthodox from an upright stance, behind an active, versatile high guard that shields both head and body, while serving as a platform for burst offense. Benavidez pressures with purpose. He uses his length well, keeps his punches long instead of smothered, and makes his jab and cross do real damage from range. He works the guard from the outside, then punches his way in behind that pressure. By working behind a stiff, probing jab, Benavidez is able to measure and control distance by setting the tone, then walks opponents down while cranking the heat with forward pressure, cutting off the ring and suffocating opponents with little room to breathe. Once inside, the real carnage hits. Benavidez bursts into blind combinations, hooks, uppercuts, and heavy straights rain into both head and body. His hand speed is deceptively fast for his size, allowing tight, rapid-fire flurries that break scores and drowns opponents. He excels at mid to inside range, using frames and angles to trap opponents, zeroing in on targets by mixing power with precision. Defensively, Benavidez has a very active high guard, taking shots on his arms and shoulders, while blending in head and upper body movement with level changes. The tight high guard allows him to get into range and hold the pocket, positioning himself firmly for catching counters with vicious accuracy. His ring IQ shines as he adjusts mid-fight, blending swarmer aggression with slick counterpunching. The result is a spectacular fan-friendly, seek-and-destroy style, high-volume pressure, elite athleticism, and an 80% KO rate that makes him a walking butcher once he finds his rhythm. Gilberto Zurdo Ramírez enters the Golden Southpaw, a 6'2" cruiserweight with a 75-inch reach who has evolved from raw Mexican style into a seasoned technician. Fighting southpaw, he controls the ring with positional footwork, using his long left hand like a sniper to dictate range and create awkward angles that frustrate orthodox opponents. His active high guard doubles as both shield and launching pad, allowing him to slip, roll, and counter while circling effectively. Zurdo mixes volume with precision, throwing varied combinations, often leaning back and changing levels to stay elusive. He punishes with accurate power shots, especially that southpaw left cross and crippling hooks to the body, breaking opponents methodically over the rounds. Ring generalship is his hallmark. He sets the pace, adapts as the fight progresses, and rarely wastes energy, relying on veteran savvy, well-placed punches rather than wild brawling. Though he brings Mexican heart and can ramp up pressure when needed, his strength lies in composure and adaptability. He makes fights look easy until you realize he's always a step ahead, leveraging size, experience, and southpaw leverage to outthink and outlast. With 30 KOs and titles across divisions, Zurdo fights like a polished veteran who turns defense into offense and chaos into control. Every style, however complete, has a price hidden within its design. David Benavidez, the devouring Mexican monster, thrives on pressure. Yet that pressure is only as dangerous as his ability to close distance and keep opponents under siege. The style comes with clear technical vulnerabilities. He can be flat-footed, needing to plant his feet in order to absorb shots, hold his ground, and fire back. That creates several windows of exposure. One comes against lateral movement, when his feet are constantly resetting, where he is forced to keep turning. In those moments, he could be caught entering the pocket.
His footwork, staying out of the distance and putting together some good work to the ball.
Winning a lot of the early rounds. According to show stats, he did in 4 of the 5 rounds. So he's a dude. And again, it's a cavernous, huge ring and plants.
Another opening appears when Benavidez tries to extend his reach by leaning back rather than pulling out and giving ground. He does this to avoid surrendering space, but the trade-off is that the weight shifts onto the back foot, anchoring him in place, leaving him vulnerable and less able to return fire with full leverage. Benavidez also squares up often to let his combinations flow more freely. That makes him momentarily static and open to body shots, especially straight down the middle, while also reducing the defensive angles available to him. His willingness to unload combinations without exits also leaves him vulnerable to counters between and after his punches. Few opponents have consistently punished those windows, but Zurdo is a different kind of problem, as he is big enough to stand a fire without folding away many others have. In the end, Benavidez's forward driving pressure has broken plenty of men, but technicians who can manage range force him to constantly reset, and exploit his balance can make him look hittable, linear, and far less dominant than the reputation suggests. Zurdo, the crafty southpaw unified cruiserweight champion, possesses good reach, ring IQ, and solid work rate, but his game has noticeable limitations, exposed against top competition. His defense is a primary concern. He often stays flat-footed in front of opponents, squaring up, taking unnecessary punishment instead of using efficient movement. His upper body movement is rigid, hitting foot speed, average at best, frequently described as slow and plodding, allowing quicker fighters to beat him to position and punch. This allows the opponent to dictate and have more control over exchanges. Zurdo can stall in perception during transitions, failing to control opponents while angling to his weak side, which leaves openings for counters or body shots. His wide stance when stabbing a jab creates momentarily imbalances, requiring him to reset his front foot and briefly freezing his offense. He tends to get stuck on the front foot when attacking and struggles with pressure or forced to deny safe angles, making him more open in exchanges. Against elite movers like Benavidez, these flaws were highlighted. Zurdo's slow reactions and defensive lapse allow superior timing and movement to neutralize his volume. While he has developed more toward a measured approach at cruiserweight, he now lacks explosive one-punch power against bigger, stronger men and can be outworked and outmaneuvered by fighters who maintain distance and exploit his predictability. In short, Zurdo is tough and experienced, but his slower speed, flat-footed tendencies, and occasional defensive freezes give mobile pressure fighters clearer targets to exploit. This fight is only the end of the road. The tension lives in the questions waiting in the dust before the showdown. Can Benavidez's pressure cut the same way when the man in front of him to withstand it? The Mexican monster has finished 25 of 31 opponents, but much of the wreckage came with the leverage of size, especially at 168. Even at 175, the butcher's cleaver didn't look as imposing. Now, he is climbing another weight division, moving up roughly 25 pounds for the first time in his career. And the stakes are clear. Will his power carry into cruiserweight? And will his pressure keep breathing fire against a naturally bigger man who has already made his home there? Zurdo brings the larger frame, the longer reach, and the deeper mileage. He is the man who has lived more rounds and worn more of the road. The real question is whether Benavidez has bulked up enough to stand his ground. or whether Zurdo's frame and newfound cunningness stretch the ring wide enough to make the pressure feel like chasing pavements. Benavidez says he is not rebuilding himself, only easing the weight cut. But he also leans on old sparring memories from years ago. But old maps rarely match the terrain when both fighters have kept evolving. This is the kind of matchup that pits marching violence against polished control. Benavidez hunts for distance, cuts it off, and tries to drown opponents in volume. Zurdo prefers space, positioning, and a kind of composure that can turn pressure into wasted steps. One man wants a firefight, the other to keep the road long and the door shut. At the cultural weight and impact of a rare all-Mexican cruiserweight title fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend, and the entire event carries even more heat. It is youth and volume against size and experience, with national pride standing just outside the ropes. Though this is Benavidez's first fight at cruiserweight, he's diving head first into the fire against a unified champion with 3 fights already logged in the division. Both men have proven they can take a shot, and at this weight, the wrecking power most likely will not carry the same bite. Still, I think Benavidez's speed and volume will be too much for the clunky, slower Zurdo, so long as the extra weight doesn't have too much of an impact on his gas tank. David Benavidez by unanimous decision.